Good morning, students. Already we discussed certain formula related to the capacitors. Today, the same formulas can be modified into the required form to do various applications. Let us see one formula. For example, if you take a parallel plate capacitor, this parallel plate capacitor is having each plate area A, separation between the plates is D. If suppose T is the thickness of slab introduced here, dielectric slab, whose dielectric constant is K and whose thickness is T. Its capacitance is given by C is equal to epsilon naught A by D minus T into 1 minus 1 by K. The same formula can be modified into different forms as per the given problem. For example, case 1. Case 1. If dielectric is absent, dielectric is absent means the thickness of the dielectric you can take 0. Then what is the formula? C is equal to epsilon naught A by D. Case 2. If dielectric fills entire space, that means the thickness of dielectric is equal to the separation between the plates, T is equal to D. Then this formula modifies in this way. C is equal to epsilon naught A by D minus, in the place of T I should keep D, 1 minus 1 by K. What will happen? C is equal to D minus D gets cancelled, K epsilon naught A by D it becomes. K epsilon naught A by D it becomes. Case number 3. Case number 3. If the space between the two plates of the capacitor is filled with different dielectrics, the diagram is like this. This is the capacitor. Plates each is having area A, separation is D. You filled this space with 3 different dielectric mediums. This is one dielectric medium, this is another dielectric medium, this is another dielectric medium. Its dielectric constant is K1, its dielectric constant is K2, its dielectric constant is K3. Its thickness is T1, its thickness is T2, its thickness is T3. So we filled the entire space with 3 dielectric mediums. Now I would like to find the capacitance of the capacitor when it is filled with 3 dielectrics. You know that a single dielectric of thickness T is there means this is the formula. The same formula can be modified like this. C is equal to epsilon naught A, area of the plate is not changed. D means separation between the plates also not changed, minus T into 1 minus 1 by K. What is the thickness of first one? T1 into 1 minus 1 by K1. Similarly, we have one more, T2 into 1 minus 1 by K2, minus T3 into 1 minus 1 by K3. Then C is equal to epsilon naught A by D minus T1 plus T1 by K1 minus T2 plus T2 by K2 minus T3 plus T3 by K3. Then C is equal to epsilon naught A by D minus of T1 plus T2 plus T3 plus T1 by K1 plus T2 by K2 plus T3 by K3. Then C is equal to epsilon naught A by T1 plus T2 plus T3 is nothing but D. The entire space is filled. So these two gets cancelled. T1 by K1 plus T2 by K2 plus T3 by K3. So this is the formula when the entire space between the plates of a capacitor is filled with 3 different dielectric slabs. So the same formula, by knowing the same formula as per the situation. In case number 1, no dielectric is present. So no dielectric is present means thickness of dielectric is 0. This term will go, epsilon naught A by D will be the formula. If the space is completely filled with the dielectric of dielectric constant K, then T is equal to D. In the place of T, I kept D here. So I got C is equal to K epsilon naught A by D. In the third case, the entire space is filled with 3 different dielectrics. In that case, this is the general formula. Or you can write C is equal to epsilon naught A by sigma Ti by Ki. I is equal to 1 to n. Here n means number of dielectrics. 3 dielectrics are there. So I value varies from 1 to 3. So T1 by K1 plus T2 by K2 plus T3 by K3. If n dielectrics are there means, then also you can use this formula. N is number of dielectric slabs. So in this way, we will apply the same formula in different situations. Here all the dielectrics are kept parallel to each other. Sometimes some dielectrics will be kept parallel, some dielectrics will be kept perpendicular to each other. In that case, how the formula takes place, how the shape of the formula is going to change, let us discuss now. So I will take one example for solving this. Here is a parallel plate capacitor. The entire space between the plates of the capacitor is filled with 3 dielectrics. It is like this. Half of the space is filled with the dielectric of dielectric constant K1 and K2. Remaining half is filled with the dielectric of dielectric constant K3. Dielectric of dielectric constant K3. That means if total area of the plate is A, upper half is filled with these 2 dielectric mediums, lower half is filled with a dielectric constant K3. So in this situation, if the division of dielectrics is like this, how to find the capacitance of this capacitor? The separation between the plates, obviously it is D. Okay. In such case, how to follow? Here, equivalent circuit we will draw. For example, we are considering the 3 dielectrics as 3 capacitors. That means there is a capacitor which is filled with the dielectric of dielectric constant K1. There is another capacitor which is completely filled with the dielectric of dielectric constant K2. Let us imagine the upper half portion of the capacitor as a combination of 2 capacitors. Here each capacitor plate is having area A by 2 and the separation is D by 2. Total separation is D. Half of this is filled with K1, half of this is filled with A2. So D by 2 is the separation, A by 2 is the area. And if you go to the lower half portion, the lower half can be considered as a capacitor completely filled with K3. Area of the plate is A by 2. Separation between the plates is D only. Separation between the plates is D only. Now, these 2 plates are joined with each other. So you can join. These 2 plates are joined with each other. You can join like this. So by joining them like this, you are applying positive potential here, negative potential here. We imagined the given system of dielectrics as 3 individual capacitors which are completely filled with dielectric of dielectric constant K1, dielectric of dielectric constant K2, dielectric of dielectric constant K3. We know the formula. When a capacitor is completely filled with the dielectric of dielectric constant K with plate area A and separation D, its capacitance is given by K epsilon naught A by D. Just now we have seen in the earlier example. Now, by using that formula, what is the capacitance of these Let me take this as capacitor 1, capacitor 2, capacitor 3. Capacitor 1's capacity is K1 epsilon naught A means A by 2 by separation is D by 2. 2 gets cancelled. So C1 becomes K1 epsilon naught A by D. Similarly, C2 becomes capacitance of this part K2 epsilon naught A by D. Here actually A by 2 by D by 2. 2 gets cancelled. If you go for C3, the capacitance of the third capacitor is given by K3 epsilon naught. Here plate area is A by 2, separation is D itself. So C3 becomes K3 epsilon naught A by 2D. If you observe clearly, these two capacitors are connected in series. In series combination, the effective capacitance is given by C1 C2 by C1 plus C2. In parallel combination, effective capacitance is given by C1 plus C2. So first let me take the resultant of these two. As these two are connected in series, effective capacitance is given by, so you can draw an equivalent circuit for this. By combining the upper two capacitors, you will get an effective capacitance of C1 C2 by C1 plus C2. The lower capacitor is having capacity C3. These two are parallel to each other. So effective capacitance is C effective is given by sum of these two, C1 C2 by C1 plus C2 plus C3. Already we have the values of C1 C2 and C3. By substituting them there, you will get it. So let me substitute here to get the effective capacitance. So effective capacitance is given by C1 C2. C1 C2 means K1 epsilon naught A by D, K2 epsilon naught A by D by C1 plus C2. What is common? Epsilon naught A by D is common. You will get K1 plus K2 plus C3. C3 means K3 epsilon naught A by 2D. So here also epsilon naught A by D, epsilon naught A by D gets cancelled. From both of them, you will get epsilon naught A by D as common. You are left with K1 K2 by K1 plus K2 plus, here epsilon naught A by D I took common, K3 by 2. This is the effective capacitance of the given capacitor. This is the effective capacitance of the given capacitor. So you observe clearly here, these two dielectrics are separating the area in vertical proportion. This is separating the area in horizontal proportion parallel to them. We are imagining them as three individual capacitors with the plate area A by 2 and separation D by 2, and this is plate area A by 2 and separation D. By finding the effective capacitance of these two in series combination, again with parallel combination of this, we will get the effective capacitance. The final answer for that is epsilon naught A by D into K1 K2 by K1 plus K2 plus K3 by 2. Thank you. Good morning, students. Today let us understand an important application related to the electrostatics and capacitors. Here we have an instrument called Van de Graaff generator. What is the purpose of this instrument and what is the principle involved in it and how it is useful to us? Generally, whenever we want to study about subatomic particles, whenever we want to study about some nuclear physics concepts, we require certain charged particles or ions to be accelerated. For example, in certain experiments, we require fast moving protons, fast moving electrons, fast moving ions. In order to generate a fast moving ion or a proton, they have to be accelerated in a high voltage electric field. To create high voltage electric field, Van de Graaff generator will provide us a method of generating the required high voltage electric field. So the purpose of this Van de Graaff generator is to accelerate charged particles like electron, protons, some ions. In order to accelerate the charged particles, we require high voltage electric field. This high voltage electric field is generated by Van de Graaff generator. In Van de Graaff generators, generally we generate electric field strength or electric field voltage in the order of 10 power 6 to 10 power 7 volts. We will generate high voltage electric field in the order of 10 power 6 to 10 power 7 volts. That means a few million volts electric field is generated with the help of Van de Graaff generator. This Van de Graaff generator works on a principle. Let us understand the principle. To understand the principle, let me explain you the distribution of charge here. If you observe this diagram, initially there is only a spherical shell of radius capital R over which capital Q charge is uniformly distributed, over which charge capital Q is uniformly distributed. Now I am introducing some another sphere, very small sphere of radius small r, possessing a small charge Q with the help of some insulating rod such that it does not touch the spherical shell. After introduction of this, how the potential is going to vary. Before the introduction of this smaller charge inside the shell, the potential on the surface of the shell is given by V capital R. V capital R is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by capital R. The same is the potential at the surface even at an inside point. The same is the potential at the surface even at the inside point. Now, I am introducing a smaller sphere of radius small r possessing a charge Q, small q. What is the potential on this smaller sphere? Means potential on the smaller sphere is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R, Q by small r, because of its own charge, As it is introduced inside this spherical shell, the potential on the surface of the smaller sphere is not only due to its own charge but also due to the charge available on the spherical shell. Hence, the potential over the smaller sphere becomes 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by small r plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by capital R. Here, sorry, capital Q by capital R. Whereas already the existing potential on the outer sphere is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by capital R. Due to the introduction of this smaller charge inside this, some potential is generated here due to the smaller charge. What is the potential generated? For this smaller sphere, it is an outside point. At outside point, the potential is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by capital R. Finally, Due to the introduction of this smaller charge, the potential on the smaller charge is given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by small r because of its own charge, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by capital R because of the charge available on the spherical shell. The potential on the outer shell, that is V capital R, is given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by capital R because of its own charge, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by capital R because of the charge available inside. If you observe clearly, as small r is less than capital R, as small r is less than capital R, obviously the potential on smaller sphere minus potential on larger sphere, how it becomes? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, you can take common. Smaller sphere means q by small r plus q by capital R minus q by capital R plus q by capital R. What will happen? Q by R gets cancelled. You will get q by 4 pi epsilon naught, small q also came outside, so you are left with 1 by small r minus 1 by capital R. As small r is less than capital R, its value is always positive. So, V potential, V means potential on the inner sphere minus potential on the outer sphere gets a positive value. That means potential on inner sphere is greater than potential, which is clearly greater than 0. So, you are concluding like this: potential on the inner sphere is greater than potential on outer sphere. If you connect a wire from inner sphere to outer shell, always positive charge want to move from high potential region to low potential region. So, as the smaller sphere is at high potential, it is at low potential, charge get transferred from high potential to low potential. So, whatever charge you are introducing here is getting transferred onto the outer shell to provide a common potential. In this way, if you are continuously generating charge here, the generating charge is providing high potential here, the charge transfers from high potential zone to low potential zone, the charge is getting accumulated on the outer sphere and the potential on the outer sphere is keep on increasing. So, whatever required high potential you want, you can generate. You can generate the potential to a maximum value such that the air in the vicinity gets breakdown. Almost 3 into 10 power 6 volts you can generate. Almost approximately how much? 3 into 10 power 6 volts is the breakdown voltage of the air in the vicinity. As we have seen in the last concept, we discussed about corona discharge. In corona discharge, the charge on the sharp edge of a conductor is becoming more and more such that it may lead to the breakdown of air in the vicinity. So, the potential on the outer shell is keep on increasing till it attains a value such that the breakdown discharge happens, such that the breakdown of air nearer to this sphere happens. Till that time, the potential keep on increasing. That means up to almost 3 into 10 power 6 volts or 3 into 10 power 7 volts, in that order we can generate the potential. So, based on this, they designed this Van de Graaff generator. This is the actual construction of Van de Graaff generator. In Van de Graaff generator, we have different parts. What is the first part? There are 2 pulleys. These 2 pulleys are joined by some insulating belt like silk cloth or rubber sheet we are taking as the belt material, and this pulley is motor driven pulley. As this pulley is rotating, obviously this pulley also gets rotated. Here what will happen? These 2 pulleys are protected by some insulating supporting column like this. Here we are having a shell like arrangement over which we are going to generate the high voltage electric field. In order to generate high voltage electric field here, we are taking some source. Source means high voltage battery we are taking. From that high voltage battery, charge is getting transferred through this metal brush. This metal brush is delivering the charge from the source. Source means high voltage battery, high tension battery we are taking. From the high tension battery, the charge is getting delivered here. As the edge is a sharper edge, due to the concept of corona discharge, the positive charge, whatever is available or provided by the source, is getting deposited onto the belt over here. So as the belt is rotating like this belt is transferring the charge to this spherical chamber. Once the charge comes here, this is received by some another metal brush. This metal brush is transferring this charge from here to here. As we discussed in this concept, the inner sphere is at high potential, the outer shell is at low potential. Similarly, this pulley, which is carrying a belt over on its surface, is bringing the charge up to here. As it is having smaller radius, here potential is more. As the spherical shell is having higher radius, the potential is less. Whatever charge brought up to here will be transferred onto the outer shell, and the potential on the outer shell is keep on increasing. Its value increases to a value almost in the order of 3 into 10 power 6 volts, such that breakdown of air takes place. Till the breakdown of air takes place, the potential keep on increasing. As long as the belt is moving, the source is providing the charge here. Whatever charge provided by this metal brush is transferred by the belt onto the upper moving pulley, and once the charge comes here, that is getting extracted by this metal brush. The charge gets deposited over the outer shell, and higher potential electric field is generated on the outer shell, which is used for acceleration of charged particles like electrons, protons and ions. Whatever charged particle you want to accelerate, that we will take in the form of a metal column like this. In this metal column, we will keep the source of ion here, ion source. From the ion source, ions gets generated. As they were kept in high electric field, they gets accelerated. Accelerated ions will come and hit the target. Target will be here. This is the target element. This part is not necessary to draw, but for your understanding I am saying. Once again you tell me, what is Van de Graaff generator? Van de Graaff generator is an instrument which is used to accelerate charged particles like electrons, protons and ions. How electrons and protons and ions are getting accelerated? They need a high voltage electric field. The high voltage electric field of order around 10 power 6 to 10 power 7 volts is generated in Van de Graaff generator. How to generate this very high voltage electric field? To generate this, it follows a principle. What is that principle? If you take a metal shell, the potential on the metal shell is given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r. Whenever we introduce some another small sphere of radius r possessing some charge inside this, the potential on the outer shell becomes like this, the potential on the inner shell becomes like this. Obviously, potential on outer shell and inner shell, if you subtract them, you will find that inner sphere is at high potential, outer shell is at low potential. Whenever we connect a wire, charge get transferred from high potential zone to low potential zone. So the potential on the outer shell keep on increasing till the potential attains a value which is capable of doing breakdown of air. This is the principle involved. Based on this principle, this instrument is designed. The instrument consists of two pulleys. One pulley is motor driven pulley. Two pulleys are joined by some non-conducting material like rubber or silk belt. As the pulleys are moving, the belt is rotating, and here we are providing a source of charge like a high tension battery we are connecting. From the high tension battery, the charge gets transferred through the metal brush onto the belt. the belt carries the charge up to the upper portion. Once it reaches here, some another metal brush will transfer this high voltage or high potential region to low potential region. The charge is getting transferred onto the outer shell. The potential on the outer shell is keep on increasing. Once the potential reaches to air breakdown voltage, it becomes constant. Till that value we can raise the potential. Once the potential reaches to the required value, here we have taken an insulated chamber. Inside that chamber we have an ion source. This ion source experience the high voltage electric field. Therefore those ions gets accelerated. Accelerated ions come and hit the target. Target element is here. This part is not necessary, it is not shown in the textbook, but for your understanding I explained here. So this is the principle of Van de Graaff generator. This is an important question for your CBSE board examination. So you have to clearly write what is the purpose of Van de Graaff generator, what is the principle involved in the generation of high voltage electric field, and what is the construction, what is the operation and everything. I hope I reached you. Thank you. So you just go through the textbook reading, and based on that you follow those equations and describe the instrument working and construction clearly. Thank you. Now let us learn one more concept. You are asked to find work done in inserting a dielectric slab. Work done in inserting a dielectric slab between the plates of a charged capacitor. Between the plates of a charged capacitor. It's a very simple concept. Here is a charged capacitor. This plate is having plus Q charge, this plate is having minus Q charge. No battery is connected to this. The battery connected to this and the charge is deposited over here, and we disconnected the battery. Into this capacitor, a dielectric slab is introduced, which can fill the entire gap with dielectric constant K slowly. Now the question is, we need to find the work done in this process. Here, as the battery is disconnected, the total charge remains constant. As no battery is available, total charge, final charge is equal to initial charge. Charge is not going to change its magnitude. What is the final capacity? Final capacity is K times the old capacity. Old capacity means without a dielectric medium, the capacitance of the capacitor is C. Due to the introduction of dielectric, the capacity becomes K times of old capacity. So what is the new voltage and what is the new energy? We already discussed. New voltage becomes old voltage by K. New voltage becomes old voltage by K. And what is the new energy? New energy is equal to half new capacity into new voltage whole square. That is half into K times of old capacity. That is V by K whole square. We already discussed this. So it becomes half CV square by K, nothing but old energy by K. New energy becomes old energy by K. You are asked to find work done. Work done is nothing but change in potential energy. Change in potential energy means final potential energy minus initial potential energy. Final potential energy U by K, initial potential energy U. So U into 1 minus 1 by K. Nothing but work done is U means initial energy half CV square into 1 minus 1 by K. So by using this formula we can calculate the work done. So the work done is very very simple, half CV square into 1 minus 1 by K. This is the situation, no battery is available or battery gets disconnected. Battery disconnected case. If the battery is still connected, what is the work done? We will calculate. This is the work done for inserting a dielectric slab between the plates of a capacitor in the absence of battery. In the presence of battery, what is the work done? That is I am discussing here. Just see. Case 2. This is the work done when battery disconnected. Work done when battery disconnected. Now next case, battery is still connected. Suppose if they ask you, so here is the battery is still connected. What will happen? When battery gets still connected, potential remains the same. Potential remains the same. Capacity becomes K times of old capacity. Capacity becomes K times of old capacity. Charge on the capacitor is equal to Q is equal to CV, new capacity into new voltage. So charge on the capacitor is, new capacity is Kc, new voltage is nothing but old voltage. So charge on the capacitor becomes K times of CV. K times of CV. Now, what is the new energy stored? Or you can write K times of old charge. New energy stored is equal to half C dash V dash square. Half into C dash is Kc, V dash is V only. So K into half CV square. K times of old energy. Now work done is nothing but change in potential energy. Final potential energy minus initial potential energy. Final potential energy is Ku. Initial potential energy is U. So U into K minus 1 is the work done. So work done is given by half CV square into K minus 1. So many problems they are asking. What is the work done for the insertion of dielectric between the plates of a capacitor when battery is disconnected? Means work done is given by half CV square into 1 minus 1 by K. When battery is still connected means half CV square into K minus 1. This is the work done in both the cases. In this way, every formula already learned by us, all these two ideas we discussed earlier, just an extension, we calculated work done. Till energy we calculated in the earlier class. Work done means change in energy. Change in energy means final energy minus initial energy. What is final energy, what is initial energy, and what is the difference? That difference will give the work done. So you follow through each and every concept what we discussed in the video lesson and try to apply those formula in the given situation. This is one of the example which is describing the idea. Thank you.